Roy Hibbert is a former NBA basketball player, two-time All-Star. The man stands 7'2" tall, Georgetown alumni, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, Star Wars and Star Trek enthusiast, investor, and YouTuber. We get into a little bit about all that stuff in this episode, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. Here's Roy Hibbert. My man. I'm sore, bro. You got me on the tonal. I'm sore.
Ooh.
Akeem's hit remix.
And so, what did you think about that workout?
I thought it was great, man. I think he's the best trainer I've seen on there.
All right. We gotta make sure we get his name right so we can like show him some love. He definitely does bring the energy for sure. You know, he gets you going for sure. Keeps. He does the laughs, makes you laugh and everything. So
I do like the tonal. It's kind of a game changer.
I mean, you know, I love going to the gym, having that, you know, but with 4 kids and if you have like, you know, the means and like this thing is like not, you know, cheap, you know, and you have a subscription and everything like that. So it gives me the ability to drop the kids off from school, come home, and then, you know, get a quick workout in, you know, for 45 to 50 minutes and then just, you know, go about my daily routine and work. So that's always good. But at the same time, you can't miss like the gym and interacting with people and seeing somebody hit like a personal best or a max rep. You'd be like, oh man, that's what's up. You know, get encouraged.
Yeah, I do like the digital weight though. It's just smoother. You know, you can't throw the weight around obviously, but it is. Yeah, it does get you there. That's for sure.
Yeah, my chest is still sore from Monday's workout. So yeah.
What do you think? What's the strongest you've ever been?
I think when I was in college, man, we were like lifting heavy, like Olympic lifts, front squats, back squats, deadlifts, high pulls. We were big into that stuff, but like, to be honest with you, like my levers were so long, like that I wasn't always the strongest, but like my legs are pretty strong. I think I squatted like 450 or something like that before. 450, that might be a little high, maybe 405 or something like that, maybe 4 plates, but like that's like ass to almost to ground, you know. So that was like deep squats and stuff, you know. So that was probably back in college, but you know, other than that, I don't want to do that again. I can't put my body through that. I can't put my body through that anymore.
You just went back to Indiana, I saw.
Yeah.
To go back and hang out with the team.
You know, that's great you brought that up because I went. They invited me back for the first game of the season, and it was opening night. You know, a lot of expectations for this team, and I remember that stuff vividly. You know, preparing all summer to you know, selfishly work on your own game, and then you know once the preseason starts, you come together, you mesh with your team. The selfishness goes out the window, and you're preparing for that first thing because you want to get that win for that, you know, start the season off right. So I was invited to come do something pregame on the center court for the team, and you know, it was definitely. I had mixed emotions, mixed feelings because this is my first time back in Indy since they basically like, you know, shipped me out, you know, and traded me to LA, and then I met you that summer and we did JIT. So things work out, you know, for a reason. But at the same time, I went back for the opening night. It was fun. It was nerve-wracking for me, just in my stomach, because I hadn't been there in so long. But I was welcomed with open arms because the last time I did play there, I think for the Lakers, the home crowd booed me, you know, and like I was just
did?
You know, damn, you know, they booed me. So I was just like, you know, I didn't even do nothing. I didn't leave the team, you know. I just got traded, you know. So they booed me. It is what it is, you know. It is, you know. But like I said, I didn't know what type of reception I was going to get, and so. But the people at the Pacers did a good job of just inviting me out, and they're going to do that for former players, so make us feel a little appreciated.
That's cool. I definitely want to circle back with you on the NBA and how you got there and all that. But take us a little bit back toward the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. Your childhood coming up. Your parents aren't from here, right?
Yeah, my mom's from Trinidad. My dad's from Jamaica. Hardworking immigrant parents instilled in me, you know, you can't make any excuses. Nobody's going to do anything for you. You just have to get in there and work, you know, get it out the mud. So my mom worked several jobs at the Boys and Girls Club and in human resources. Then she worked I don't know if you ever heard of this Hex department store. She used to work at
No.
Hex, and maybe that might be an East Coast thing, department store. And then she used to look after old folks on the weekends as well. So that's like Monday through Sunday she was doing that. So she's hard working. My dad worked at power plants and stuff, engineer. So always working, always instilled that in me. But I love them to death.
How they decide to come here? What was the whole story with how they met and how they made it over to the States?
I can't recall how my mother made it to the States, but my dad came, and his older brother and sister had left from Jamaica to go to the U.S. and they'd always send money back back home. Then so it was just like a natural progression. It's just like the United States is like a creme de la creme. Everybody wants to come here and start a life for themselves and send money back home. So my dad came out here. He was in New York. He met my mom at a bar or club or something like that, and then they were married. And then I came along, and then so we've been together
Only
ever
child?
since. It's the three of us. It's only child. It's the three of us.
What was it like when you started to actually grow in? Obviously, you're 7'2". So when did you start to have those spurts, and what was it like just when you start to realize you're getting to be tall?
Both my parents are both 6'2". So I think I get like a lot of my height from my mom's side. But ever since I was young, like kindergarten, like I go back and I look at all my elementary school and middle school pictures and stuff, and I'm always in the back row because like I'm taller than everybody. So it was basically from a young age, at least from kindergarten. And I know in the 6th grade, I went in 6'2", and then I left 6'6", and then after that, I grew like 2 inches like every year. So I think at least my math may be off, but by sophomore year in high school, I was 7'2", and so it took a little bit while to grow into my body. So, but yeah, it was. I was always tall at a young age. I used to get pick last sometimes because everybody else didn't want to have me play basketball with them because I was killing them in the 6th grade.
You hit 7'2" as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Wow. And so obviously basketball was just already gonna happen.
So to be honest with you, my parents who were immigrants, they look at like soccer, cricket, and like one of the big things for them was
Imagine
like,
if you were a cricket player.
I don't even know how to play the sport, but yeah, they make some bank over there in Australia and stuff like that. Those cricket players, they may not be known over here, but they got a following overseas, especially in India. But my parents always felt that basketball was not like a illustrious or sport. It's more like they looked down on it. So they used to tell me, "You're not playing basketball. You're gonna play tennis in front of the Queen of England or something like that." They always had me playing tennis like on the week. Like we did not have money, but they worked their butts off to to put me through school, pay for school. But they also would put in extra time so they can like get me tennis lessons on the weekend. And I'm just like, I hated going, but they really wanted me to do this. But eventually by 3rd grade, I wanted to sign up for my Catholic CYO basketball team. So eventually they gave in because all my friends were doing it. So and then after that, it was a wrap for tennis. It was basketball. That's the only thing we could afford.
And what were you into as an only kid? Were you into, into comic books or anything like that? What were you into?
Oh man. So I'll tell you this though. When I was a kid, used to love, and I still to this day love Star Trek. Like my mom used to watch The Next Generation. We didn't really watch the TOS with Kirk and stuff, the original series.
You're a Trekkie.
I'm a Trekkie. And but yeah, so I was into that, and then I got into like Pokemon heavy. I went to the first Pokemon movie. They actually gave out a holographic Mewtwo Pokemon card at the movie theater when you went to go see the movie, like the first day on opening night. So we camped out. We got the thing. I have all my Pokemon cards in a safe and everything like that. If I ever fall on hard times, I know I got some cards I could sell.
To this day.
To this day, I even got to the point where I had like a Game Boy at the Wheaton Mall. They had like a Pokemon like Game Boy tournament, and like so I went. And like I actually you get your Game Boy. And I went to these conventions and stuff, and I actually lost in the 2nd round. But like I was everybody thought I was like a 13-year-old going there, but I was probably like 10, or whatever like that. They probably thought I was 16, probably. Yeah.
When did basketball come?
3rd grade, basketball came. CYO, I was in third grade, but I was so much taller than everybody else that they put me on the fifth grade team. And so I was playing. I always played like basically up for the most part. And so in that league, it was discouraging. I hated basketball to a point because in the CYO, you had to 4 quarters and you had to play one player like at least 1 quarter. So the coach would always play me the first quarter and not play me the last 3 quarters, you know. So I was just sitting on the bench the whole time. So that was frustrating, but it is what it is, you know. And then by the time I got to sixth grade, I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and then I used to go there during the summers because my mom worked in the main office. But at the Boys and Girls Club, they had like a tryout for an AAU basketball team, a travel team. So I tried out, and I was so nervous because I'd never tried out for anything before, and I was afraid I wasn't going to make it. I was the tallest kid there, and I made the team. And then I actually went on to play with some really good NBA players. Dante Cunningham played for the Spurs, went to Villanova. We played together at in sixth grade, and then Ty Lawson, he went to UNC, then got drafted by the Nuggets, and then he played. So and then so I had a lot of future NBA players and college players that I played with at the time. So that's when basketball kind of got really serious in sixth grade. I started traveling. It was like a all year round thing. I was never played like organized basketball besides one practice a week. We were like running stairs. We were on Saturdays. We had conditioning days. So basketball ramped up in sixth grade for sure.
And when you got into high school, what was the high school experience like? Were you pretty disciplined? Were you a good kid? Were you getting into trouble?
High school, I went to Georgetown Prep. It's a predominantly like white school. So like this is 2000. Like some of my best friends still to this day. We were probably like one of like 8 black kids in like our class, and that was fine because my whole life was all around black people. So I go to a boarding school and like I'm around different races and stuff. So it was like a melting pot, it was like cultural melting pot. So it was pretty legit to meet people from South Korea, people from Japan, people from Colombia. I lived on campus and everything like that. So I got to eat their food. I got to hear their culture. So that was pretty legit. And then, but yeah, that was good. But I didn't have a work ethic in high school. Being 7'2" by sophomore year, and the tallest person I used to play against probably on average was like 6'4". And so I didn't work hard. I basically got the rebound and scored. I averaged like 18 points, 19 rebounds or something like that. But definitely did not work hard in high school. Once the season was done, I basically sat on my ass, played video games, thought about talking to girls, didn't have the courage for that until like college. But yeah, prep was an all boys school. So
Really?
Yeah, it was all boys school.
So was Georgetown Prep, was that a funnel to Georgetown?
Not really. It wasn't a funnel to Georgetown, but it was a very prestigious school. Like, I think you could look it up. I think we have like 2 Supreme Court justices, from our school. So it wasn't known as a basketball school, it was more as an academic school. But we made it, myself and my basketball teammates kind of like raised the bar for basketball. But like I said, didn't work hard. I committed to Georgetown. Went to Georgetown, did not play at all my first year. Played horrible, and then I had to figure things out.
Were you getting recruited from a bunch of different schools and then just settled on Georgetown?
Oh yeah, the other options for me were like UNC. I really wanted to go to UNC prior to committing to Georgetown. I like their colors. MJ went there. So they definitely had a cool vibe. It was the Tar Heels and stuff. Like, I got recruiting letters from everybody. On the outside looking in, he's 7'2". He averages 18 points, however many rebounds. There has to be something there. So I got recruited by everybody. It just happened to be that my high school basketball coach, Dwayne Bryant, went to Georgetown, and he actually played. He was the starting point. He was a point guard for Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo from 86 to 90. He played. So Dwayne would have me go drive from prep after school to Georgetown to go play pickup with the college players. And they used to kick my ass up and down the court every day. I went there, but I kept going back for more. And the thing that I really liked was Alonzo Mourning used to come back and play. So I'm like a 13, 14-year-old kid, doing school And then after school, I'm playing against Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Mike Sweetney,
Crazy.
everybody, So I'm just like, man, these are like these people like I look up to, and I'm just like, there's no better place to go if you're a big man. I felt at the time than Georgetown, So I committed there, but I got recruited by everybody. But I committed there my sophomore year, and then I used to go up there all the time when I was once my basketball season was done, and I'd work out with the team and everything like that. So that was a place I wanted to go.
Yeah, obviously legendary coach John Thompson. What was that like? And we've talked about this a little bit, but it's so interesting. He was a hard ass, right? He was one of those.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a soft coach. What was it like being under John Thompson?
So Big John Thompson, the one who won the national championship in '84 with Big Patrick Ewing. Uh, he was always at practice. He was always there. But his son, John Thompson III, was my coach. He had he was coaching at Princeton before he got the job at Georgetown. So, but Big John was always hard. He was always hard on us. On certain players, I would say one thing he'd always do. Like there's two exits, entrances and exits from where we practice every day to leave. And one of them, he had a chair right next to the exit. So basically, like, you have to walk past him to leave to go to get treatment and go to like the dining hall and stuff like that. So some people I would see walk in front of me, and then he would just let them go by. But then I would go up there, and then I have to say, "How you doing, coach?" Then he'd give me a piece of his mind. He'd be like, "Roy, you're like the worst big man to ever come to Georgetown." He'd be like,
No.
he used to call me Big Stiff. He said you run up and down the court so fucking stiff and everything like that. But but then he'd be like, this sounds mean, but at the same time, he'd be like, you should have grabbed that fucking rebound, or you only had 4 rebounds, But then I always said to myself, he's a legend. He's gone from A to B to C. He's won a national championship. Like hear what he's saying, not how he's saying it. And I used to think to myself early on, why is he not saying the same thing to the certain players? But then eventually gained his respect, and he would basically tell me those guys sandbag it. I don't expect anything out of them. Once they leave here, it is what it is. But I expect more from you. I see something in you. And everything. I didn't hear that until at least my senior year, So it's every day since freshman year of college, he'd be getting on me. But it'd be for every 8 things he said, 2 things he'd give me positive, and or even more of that. It might be 7 to 3. But I didn't take it to heart. But he was a tough coach. He was a tough coach. But I definitely pressure makes diamond.
I mean, yeah, just knowing you, I know that probably lit a fire under you, and because you're so coachable, and I don't think everybody responds that well to that sort of coaching. But I mean, some people really like that. That takes them to the next level. Also, I think maybe you can speak to this. As far as the NBA goes, it feels like a lot of times the players are the ones that are kind of running the show, and the coaches get pushed out. Coaches get fired all the time. I mean, obviously, there's some good coaches that still garner that respect, but it does feel like they're walking on eggshells a lot around the players because the players run the show. Is that accurate?
So, yeah, I mean, to this point, man, the players. I remember hearing this commercial. I'm not sure if your viewers remember hearing this as well, but they say the NBA is a players' league and everything like that. That was a promo they had, and it really is now. These guys are making so much money, and rightfully so. These good players are making some really good money. Happy for them and stuff, but at the same time, these are you giving somebody a quarter of $1 billion or something like that. You're going to want to make those people happy. If not, you're not going to get a return on your investment, and the return on your investment is like a championship. And if you pay these people, so I do feel that certain guys have earned that respect to be able to say, I played with Kobe, and Kobe's last year, he hardly practiced because you know what? Everybody else practiced. I could feel salty about that. Why does he get to show up to the games and everything like that? But at the same time, this man has, had 18, 19 years of busting his ass and he's a legend, you know. And there's like levels to this. Like everybody's equal, but at the same time, not everybody's equal, you know. So, at the same time, I feel like he's earned that type of sway to be able to do things his way, you know. And there may be some players that I don't feel may have earned that. They may have earned their contract, rightfully so, but I don't think they've earned the right. But at the same time,
the game has changed a lot. And even the fact that players now, if something's not working out, they get out of the contracts, they go to a different team, they can build dynasties, and it doesn't feel like the Lakers and the Celtics of the 80s where there's like a loyalty to the team. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels like people are going to where the bag is, and they're willing to just switch it up.
Rightfully so, that you have in the NBA, you have like this amount of time to make like this amount of money,
True.
So I understand that. And then some guys, as they get to the end of their career, want to like get on like a better team. But at the same time, I'm just like, a part of me be like, if I get paid like $1,000, or I sign a contract, that's my job. For me personally, I feel like I would want to live up to that contract, and like play through that stuff. But at the same time, I feel like there's ways to go about it.
I mean, for fans, it's like you're making 500 million or you're making 600 million. Like, okay, let's maybe go with the 500 million and stay in your city.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Talk to me about going into the NBA. You were a first round draft pick. First of all, what was it like to get drafted into the NBA? And what was that whole experience like? That must have been a real exciting time for you.
So I'd say this though, just to rewind like 1 year prior, in 2007, I had a better year. We went to the Final Four. I played great against the number 1 pick, Greg Oden, and everybody expected me to leave. But, my parents really wanted me to get my degree. And I knew that if I went to the NBA, I was not going to go back to school and finish my degree. Because if you're making millions, let's say, God forbid, something bad happens and you lose your money once you retire or something like that, you can go into coaching at least, I don't want to be a good influence. You should get your degree and stuff like that. But at the same time, I felt that it was important. So I went back to college for my last year. Instead of leaving, I would have gotten drafted probably higher the year before, but I didn't think that I was mentally and physically ready to go to be in the NBA, because I would listen to Alonzo, Dikembe, and Patrick, and they say, 82 games is a lot of games. I picked the brains of like the best. So I decided to go back my senior year. We lost to Steph Curry in the second round of the tournament. So that's when he had his big run, and it was not the best year. So I got drafted 17th. So it was great to get drafted. I knew the week of the draft that I was going to go 17th to the Pacers, because I was in the office, my agent's office, David Falk, when Larry Bird, who was running the team, called and was like, "Hey, we're going to use Toronto's pick that they gave us and draft Roy Hibbert at 17. David, you're a good agent. Don't fuck around and try to like get him drafted higher than 17, all right?" So he thought, we talked about it, like Indiana was like the best place for me to go in terms of like, who they had at center, who was there before, who they had there now. So I'm happy to have gone, so it was definitely surreal.
What was it like to get an NBA check? Now you're getting ridiculous money. It's a whole nother level. So, this is something that a lot of people struggle with that are athletes that come into some money. What was, obviously, I think you had some good grounding, but what was that whole experience like?
Oh man, like I said, like Big John, like once he knew I was going to go to the NBA, he would like, and JT3, my like actual head coach, they would always sit to me and talk to me, like, hey, they'd always give me articles of like players that would like, as soon as they get there, they'd buy their mom. They're a first round pick, but like the first 13 players who are in the lottery, they make a lot of money. Like, obviously, we all make a lot of money, but like their money is like the lottery. It's like their rookie. They make like, I think like the first pick makes about, at the time, maybe like 7 million, so it's a scale, and like, so and everything like that. So it was ridiculous because
but even 500,000 is a lot of money to somebody who hasn't had money before,
Oh yeah. Man, the first so I didn't go crazy, but I know players that would. They would they make like say end of the first round, like 25th pick, they buy themselves a house and they buy their parents a house, and like a lot of the problems is that their first contract, the average player makes it in the league in like 2.5 years. So I told my folks, based off of this, let me defer gratification. I rented apartments, and then I said, hey folks, you guys live where you are now, and like I promise you, like I'm gonna put the time in, and like not having like the pressure on me, to say like I need to, do this. But like I told them, defer gratification. I'll take care of my business, and then once I get that big contract, I'll take care of everything. And like luckily, things worked out that way and everything like that. But you can get into trouble like buying too much so soon because them taxes, boy, whew, taxes.
So when did that big contract come?
I think 2012. It was I think after my All-Star year, my first All-Star. So that always helps that you're popping at the right time. So, but yeah, that was it was good. It was good. I felt that I had worked hard, and I felt like I deserved that and everything like that. So I was it was life changing money right there. Yeah, even though things didn't work out well towards the end in Indy, they shipped me off, kicked me to the curb. I am appreciative that, they basically like changed, helped be a part of changing my life.
So you went from Indiana to LA?
Yeah, went to Indiana and LA.
That's where you and I met, doing jiu-jitsu. And so what was the genesis of you getting into martial arts and jiu-jitsu, MMA? I know you're a big fan of the UFC. We both are. How'd you get into martial arts?
So I'll take it all the way back. So I think the UFC had a fight night in Indiana. I think Cowboy Cerrone may have been like headlining, but I remember meeting Cowboy before the fight when he was like warming up or not warming up, but like maybe like the day before or something like that at the arena. And I have like an autographed Cowboy Cerrone like glove downstairs and in my gym. So
He's the best.
He is the best. That's a man's man right there. That's a man's man. If you ever see him, you tell him I said
he's out here in New Mexico. He's out here. He has a ranch out here, I heard.
He got his ranch out here. Yeah. All right. But so I met Dana at the fight, and we would like always talk and text, and like we always stay in touch. They would have the Ultimate Fighter on Spike TV, so I'd always text him who I thought was going to win and who I thought was like really good or soft or some shit like that. So we would always like chat. So always stayed up with them over the years and talk. Good dude. And then so that last year when I got traded from Indiana to the Lakers, I played horrible, rightfully so. I was horrible. It was time. I felt like it was time. The team was going to move on from me, and like I knew it was time. I was depressed, in my own head for like a week. I did not leave my room, like even in my house, did not leave the house or my room. I was just like in bed. So my wife and like every summer, I would stay in Indiana and work out to show the team that like I'm like dedicated and everything like that. Because a lot of guys would go to LA or Miami or Vegas to work out, and like and that's fine, But I wanted the team to know I'm locked the hell in. And so my wife was just like, Roy, like we spent every summer here. Why don't we like change things up and let's spend the summer in LA. And so I was just like, all right, cool. I'm cool with that. I may need some space and everything like that. I'm not sure if they're going to bring me back or not, but they threw me under the bus. More than likely, Larry was just like, you're going to be on the team, but you're not going to play and everything like that, So I was like, damn. So I was, like I said, I was depressed. We got some places we're going to look at in LA to rent. Let's go to Napa. I've never been to Napa. I'm not a wine drinker, so I went out to Napa, and we were at dinner, and then my wife gets up to use the bathroom, and then this person right next to me gets up to use the bathroom, his wife, and then he was going through his phone, and I looked over, and I was probably like peeking this to see what was on his phone, and he was wearing a gi, and it was like pictures of him and his daughter, like I guess at a belt ceremony and everything. So I was like, oh man, what's that? And he was just like, oh yeah, like I said, belt ceremony. Like me and my daughter do jujitsu. And then he was just like, he wanted his daughter to learn self-defense. And he was just like, she wanted him to do it with him. So like he was a white belt and everything like that. It may have been a blue belt at the time. So I was like, damn, and like obviously I'm a big fan of jiu-jitsu, and I was just like, man, I need something else besides just basketball that I can like do and everything like that, because all I did years prior to the summer was only focus on basketball, and I need an outlet, something else. So we moved to LA, and then I hit up Dana. I'm like, "Oh, Dana, I'm living in such and such place. Is there any good jujitsu gyms that that I So he put me in touch with your former employer and everything like that. And then I think I did my first class with, was it Henner? I think I did my first thing with Henner. I think he was like in full mount, and he like wrist locked me, or he told me like you have 30 seconds to get up, and then like he was like in side control or something like that. And like I thought, like I'm 7'2", I like work out, man. I can push this little motherfucker. Like he's not little, but like he's like 6'2". I can push this dude off me. And then like, bro, I gassed in like I was gonna say like 20 seconds, but I basically gassed in like 10. Couldn't get him off me, and I was like, yo, this shit is good. And then like his price for privates, because my team only wanted me to do privates. They didn't want me in Gen Pop, like potentially like popping a knee
Getting wrist locked.
or getting wrist locked, and I can't shoot free throws anymore. So his privates, rightfully so, family tree. His privates were like two something. I don't want to get it wrong or get anybody in trouble. So I was like, man, I do make good money, but at the same time, like I gotta be like cost efficient though. I'm already paying, because in Indiana I get like treatment for free every day. Lifting was free, every day, because I have my strength coaches there, and the basketball court workout was free, because the coaches are there from like 8 to like 1 p.m. So any between those times you can come in and get all three of those things done. But in LA, boy, paying those trainers and that's so I'm not, like I said, I'm not complaining, make good money, but like so obviously like the next tier, like right here, and then you were right there, so I was like, oh, give me that dude right there, and then I was like, oh, this dude, I could push him on, and then you did the exact same thing to me again, and I was like, yo, teach me more.
Yeah, man, and you really got into it. You really, I mean, if people don't know, you talk about it all the time, but you really love jiu-jitsu and you really excelled at it. What was it about jiu-jitsu that really sort of like kept you interested, and what do you feel like you got from it?
When in my like better playing years in the NBA, I used to always train during the summer and always train at a disadvantage. I'd always have like I felt to become a better pick and roll defender, and like to be best, I would always have during the summer I was guarding somebody, and then they would set the screen, and then basically it was always a 2-on-1 situation where I had to guard the ball handler and then guard the guy that was rolling to the basket or popping. So I always had to be able to do two things at once. I have to stop the ball and then like get back to that person and not go for a pump fake and foul. And then, or I have to like get my ass from under the basket to close out at the top of the key to make sure they don't shoot or don't drive past me and like I stop properly. But I'm getting off point. But like for me, it was always, I have to be uncomfortable to like, I have to go through it and be at a disadvantage and be uncomfortable to get better. That's the only way I felt that I like push through and everything like that, So, and then I feel like maybe that's not, jits isn't the closest thing, but like when you're in like, and somebody has the head under the arm and side control, and then like, they're going for submissions. How are you going to defend the submissions and then also look for your opens to get that underhook to bridge out and stuff, So for me, it was just like, oh man, like it's like a game of chess, So that's why I felt that I love being uncomfortable. Like I like to get better. I have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, man, and you really took an interest in it to the point where you're like texting me techniques and super annoying about it. But
I definitely was. I know I was texting you all those flips and handstands and all the spider. Like I like the spider guard. I have long arms and stuff, but you're like, oh, you're using the granny. What you say?
I got to use mental warfare on you because it's terrifying. It's terrifying training with you. So I got to use some sort of mental warfare on it. I mean, you love jiu-jitsu, and There was a time where you were working with Kareem. Kareem was, I guess, doing one-on-one training with you. I don't know what it was with
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you brought Kareem to the academy, and he sat in on one of our
yeah.
privates. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I mean, like one of the best ever. But he was,
A
I
presence.
mean,
Yeah,
presence. But he's also a martial arts fan
yeah,
himself. I mean, he was training with Bruce
yeah.
Lee, and he was very into it. He was telling stories, and that was amazing.
I forgot that he came to watch me do jits and everything like that. But shout out to
Shout
Kareem
out
though.
to Kareem.
He's an influential person, writing papers and stuff like that, fighting a good fight. You
Fighting
know.
a good fight and just a man of many interests. Yeah, who do you like right now in the UFC?
I was really looking forward to that Stipe, John Jones fight because I was a big Stipe fan. Big Stipe fan. I like DC. He's a good fighter, but like I felt that after DC beat Stipe and they brought Brock Lesnar out, I felt that like after all that Stipe had done, I was just like, man, like if you beat Stipe after the rematch, then I feel like But this is just me
That
as a
was sort of
fan.
that's actually kind of like an inflection point of when the genesis of it started to shift a little bit toward more marketing of these kind of fights. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, so I like Stipe, but I love John Jones, man. Like John, I remember a big fan of John. I think we're all like we might be around the same age and everything like that. I can't be sure, but like I remember I bought the John Bones Nose shirt. Like he had a deal with Nike for like a hot second, and then like I think he got whatever. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm a big fan of John Jones, man. Like I'm just like man, like
He's the
how
GOAT.
the goat for sure. Picograms and all and
All the
everything like that. The
picograms,
goat,
all of them.
and yeah, and then, but like another fight that I don't know this dude too much, but we DM'd and I'm a big fan. It was like Sean O'Malley. Like I love Sean O'Malley's swag. I remember him on Dana White's Contender series. Like he has swag. I love it when guys back it. Back it up and everything like that. I love him, but I'm also close with Aljamain Sterling and like Aljo, man. Like he takes your back. He always got the
Body triangle.
body triangle. Sorry, I haven't done jits in a while. I don't know if people can see, but I got spine surgery, so I had to give up jits for at least a year and a half to heal and everything like that.
So you forgot what a body triangle is called?
I love the body. I'm sorry, that was my thing.
Was it brain surgery?
I know. I love the body triangle because, like, my feet, my legs are so long. Like, like just wrap that up though. You ain't going nowhere. But it does take away my chances because I love the bow and arrow from the back though. So I love Aljo. So like when they fought, I actually did not. I couldn't watch, because I'm a fan of both of those guys.
Who's your favorite female fighter?
And but Amanda Nunes, I always felt like she had cement in her hands though, like knocking folks out. And then she would I felt like she wasn't knocking them out, but still winning decisively. But then she would submit people too and everything. So she was definitely my favorite female fighter to watch because man, she and then I respect the fact that she loved the gym that she was at, but she had to think about what's next for her and everything like that. So starting her own gym and then like creating your own crop of fighters, I think that's like great. I feel like too many people wait to figure out what's next. So like
I was at the fight. Were you at the fight when when Amanda knocked out Cyborg?
Was that in New York?
No, that was in LA. I think that was Anaheim.
Yeah, I don't think I went to that one then. I don't think I went to that one.
I was just thinking about LA and when you and I met and when you were playing in LA for the Lakers. I went to a bunch of games when you were with Kobe. Tell us a Kobe story.
So I'm playing for the Pacers and Kobe. Fuck man, I usually don't go for pump fakes because I usually like try to I watch film and stuff. But Kobe pump fakes under the basket. My dumb ass goes for the pump fake. And I don't go for pump fakes. I'm just like I'm either just block it late than like getting there early and block it. So he does. I jump up to block it. Kobe like jumps into me and like flails and stuff like that, and then like I get hit or whatever like that. Right? A timeout comes, so we walk into our to the timeout to the bench, and then like George Hill looks at me like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck's up with your nose?" Apparently, like Kobe broke my nose. Like my nose is
Did he break it?
deviated septum and all. Yeah, he broke it. So I had to go in the back, and they looked at it. They gave me a mask and everything. My nose is bleeding. I went back out there and played. We won. Yada yada yada. But so I make it to the All-Star game in Orlando. So Kobe's walking down the hotel or whatever conference thing because you have to do pictures, media and stuff. He's by himself. I go up to Kobe. I'm like, yo, like we crossing paths this way, and then and then I'm like, yo, bro, like, yo, what's good, man? Like, yo, you broke my nose on that thing. He was like, oh yeah. He was like, get the fuck out the way the next time. Let me just score it. And then he just like kept. Well, I'm telling you, like Chris, he had a stone cold like you like get the fuck out the way then, And he just kept moving. I was just like, damn, that motherfucker cold blooded though. Like he don't care, like by any means necessary, But it's just the way how he said it though. It was funny.
I mean, what a legend. Who do you think was the best player that you ever were on the court with? Was it Kobe?
To play against was obviously LeBron. Being on the court with like playing against LeBron, I still think MJ is number one, and then LeBron is like 1.5,
Have you known any really, really special players that never really made it for whatever reason it was to the league? Like anybody come off the top of your mind that like you were like, damn, that person would have been really special?
Yeah, and this is one kid. People could do their research, but there was this one kid that I played with. Like I said, on my AAU team, we had guys go to the pros, play college at a high level and everything. And there was this one player that went in sixth grade when I joined that AAU team. It was the Potomac Valley Blue Devils. There was this one kid that I played with that I'm not going to say his name, but like was the best player on the team, best player, like all top three in the or probably top in the draft. Like there used to be this basketball websites that would rank you. They still do that now, but they had just kind of like started online in like 97, 98 or whatever like that. I think it was called DC Phenom or something like that. He was always ranked number one in the state and everything. And he was actually on the cover of Sports Illustrated Kids. I remember like, he had the photo shoot and everything like that. And like I remember I was like, damn, bro, like like bro, he used to get shoes. He was, and he kind of fell into a trap where, unfortunately, he didn't have like maybe a strong father presence around him. So like basically, he went from somebody would take him from one high school to the next, play not to go to high school, just play for this high school. So he went from this high school to this high school to this high school to this high school. And by the time he got done with, like, I was leaving high school in those 4 years, like he had no, I don't know how the correct thing, but like I don't think he had the grades to even go to like a good college. So like all those schools that I got recruited by, the colleges, like he was probably getting recruited by them in like sixth grade, and everything like that. But man, it's just he got used by the system, man. Like that quick money that he probably, I know guys were getting paid, like he was getting paid to like go to this school or join this, because he left our AAU team and went to different AAU teams, and like you hear stories about guys getting like a shoebox full of money and some Jordans and stuff, and then
That's real, right? Blue chip athletes.
yeah, that stuff was happening all the time, and I feel like luckily I had like a strong parents around me. I'm not shitting on his parents or anything like that, but there's different situations where somebody may not be as well off as you, and then somebody gives you $1,000, $2,000 to like leave this AAU team to go join this AAU team. That 2K can feed your family for like a week or two, or you can lose that money, buying clothes and stuff, frivolous stuff. So everybody's situation is different. I feel like them taking the money kind of like led to him being passed around and not really cared for and looked after, and we kind of lost touch and everything like that. But he should have been where I was, where I ended up, looking back. I always thought that it was going to be easy for him.
There's a lot of factors with people that make it or don't make it. And what do you think is some of the things that are some of the characteristics that once you get to a high level like the NBA, what are some of the things that you see people doing at that level that is really, sets them apart from other people?
Well, I feel like guys are way more open now to talk about things being filmed and like, and just doing stuff to build their brand. Like my agent basically was just like, only worry about basketball and only worry about basketball, and then like worry about the other stuff like later. But like later was so I'm not. I think like that stuff. He hated, my agent Falk hated, and you can put this in there too. I did like a flash mob in Indiana to Gangnam Style. He hated that. he was just like Roy, like because like it was like preseason, and like we would have 2-a-day practices, and then like I'd be tired from 2-a-days because like in the NBA you have 2-a-days, one practice, only one practice could be contact. So the first practice is usually like 2.5, 3 hours, and that's contact. You run up and down the court, you're playing physical, and then the afternoon session is more like shots, getting up tons of shots, running through the offense, getting like the A team, the B team, and like the guys that don't play at all, like this, like the last 3 guys or 4 guys on the team, some extra reps and stuff like that. So I do that, and then like I come back later on, and then I do practice for the Gangnam Style
Oh my
video. You
God.
have to put so like yeah. So we did a flash mob in the mall of Gangnam Style. So like my agent hated that, but I feel like this stuff now, like it's you can be way more open, build a brand and stuff like that. Like I said, I actually did like 2 or 3 episodes like Parks and Rec, but I was always afraid people were going to be like, I'm not focused.
Were you still playing
on
at that time?
But at the same time, I was still playing. Yeah, loved it. Yeah, loved doing that stuff. But yeah, it was definitely being able to be more open and not so worrisome that worrisome that people aren't gonna think you're working or being in my own head.
Yeah, man, it is a different world, and now you're in full-time daddy mode. What is what do you? How are you guys gonna raise the kids with social media? Are you gonna lay down any ground rules?
I mean, my youngest is like 6, so I think I have a little bit of time. But man, like we just had some family stay in town, and obviously, like when they get to like 11, 12, 13, that's when it kind of really starts, in terms of like, feeling like you're a part of the group and not spending too much time on the phone, but then like, letting them have a little bit of rope to because like you don't want them to be like, oh, I'm the only one being left out. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure there's any books that have been written that I probably will not read to figure this out. I got to watch maybe some YouTube videos or something like that. But it's something that I have thought about, but I don't have an answer for you now, man, because I've seen that it can be like really debilitating to kids, But for me, maybe I feel that always having them engaged in something may help curtail the maybe, like, I knock on wood, I'm not sure this is going to work, curtail the need to feel that likes are more important than or are the most important thing or anything like that. So as of right now, I have my son playing tennis. I kind of pushed him. I didn't want him to play basketball just because of some of the mental stuff that I had to deal with towards the end. And I'm just like, kind of don't want him to play basketball. We kind of pushed him towards tennis and golf, in which he loves. He's like 6, but I see him like running up to the ball, hitting it, then running back and like hitting it back. I'm just like, oh man, he can move. But then at the same time, my wife is 5'10", and a half, and our son is like the tallest kid in the class. So my wife is like, Roy, like don't like push him away from the obvious, So he's trying to learn basketball and stuff. So
What's the philosophy? Is there anything that's like non-negotiable? Like you have to do it. You're going.
one thing that is non-negotiable is football. I feel like I feel that those concussions at an early age. I got a bunch of concussions from playing basketball, either getting elbow in the face or falling backwards, snapping back, hitting your head on the court. But yeah, like obviously concussions can happen in any sport, but from what I've seen, like it's very prevalent in the football space, especially the undocumented ones and like pee wee football and stuff like that. So because I would say when I was in Indy, I used to always do MMA training. Like my best years, I know I'm all over the place, but I would do like my treatment in the mornings in the summer. Then I do my lift for like treatments for an hour, lift for like an hour, hour and 15, and on the court for like an hour and a half. Take a break, lunch break. Then like 2 days a week, I do like mitts, knees. The team didn't want me doing kicks because if you do it wrong, they say you can like maybe like break your foot if you don't flex it right. So they were just like do the knees, the kicks, the punches, and everything. So I get combinations up to like 10 or and I remember them. And then those years after those concussions I had, I remember you put me in touch with Boxing Burn. What's his name?
Tony Jeffries and Glenn Holmes.
Not Tony, Glenn. Yeah, Glenn Holmes. So I go up there and do boxing. And I tell you though, after those concussions, man, like I literally couldn't do more than like maybe like 5 maybe 6. I couldn't remember the before it was like night and day.
And you were actually one of the people that got me back into cannabis, which is
Yeah.
something I think is obviously more acceptable these days. For me, I think we've talked about this before, but back in the day, I used to smoke a lot of weed. When I was a kid, it was illegal. It was different. Now it's like a full on industry. And what do you get from weed? Because I get a lot of things like recovery. I get a lot of things like creative energy. What does weed do for you?
Man, when I played, we'd have like say like 4 games in 5 nights. So we'd have a game in Indiana, let's say on Monday, 7 o'clock is the tip off. 9:30 the game is usually over. Say 4 games in 5 nights. The next game may be in Chicago. So we fly out to Chicago. We get there probably it's not that far. Let's say we get there at like 12 o'clock. I can't sleep after games because I'm like wired. So I'm on a high. So like, because like most of the time I take pre-workout. If the game's at 7:30, I take it usually like 20 minutes beforehand. I'm very caffeine sensitive. So I would take. So eventually I was on like basically upper like caffeine before a game, and then if I have a game tomorrow in Chicago, my numbers would go down just in terms of like my back to backs, on the and stuff like that.
Do a
So
lot of guys take pre workout?
I think I'm not sure it's still, but like back when I played, definitely. You definitely want to. You have 82 games, and like you say, you have 4 games, 5 nights, so you need to, get some energy. When because you get off a plane. So eventually I was on uppers and downers. I'd be on like Ambien to try to go to sleep. So I'd say, all right, I'm gonna break this pill, and then Ambien pill. I get a prescription for it, and it was cleared by the NBA and stuff like that, obviously. So I would take an Ambien, and it went from like half a pill to like then after a week or two of taking half a pill. The half a pill didn't work anymore, so I take a full pill, and then so basically, end of the season, it would be so hard to go to sleep because I was just on that stuff during the playoffs and stuff. So because I needed to sleep. So and during the season, I would take it. I would try not to take it, but it's definitely hard. So like once I retired, I never touched marijuana. When I played, you get 4 random drug tests, piss tests, and you get 2 blood tests. So I'm just like I'm never gonna risk that, man.
Which is crazy. Like, what's weed gonna do for you playing basketball? Like, it's not gonna do anything.
I know, man. It's not going to do anything, but people are afraid. Like, Stephen A. Smith always feel like players are going to show up to the game high, and like, yeah, it's not. It's not. But for whatever reason, it is what it is, But so once I retired, I was like, man, I got so much like ankle pain, knee pain, and like I didn't want to continue to take Advil and Tylenol and stuff like that, because that can really mess your kidneys up. I feel like. And so I try some cannabis and like, man, I'm just like, man, these aches and pains are like, gone. And like, you get a good indica, like you be on couch lock and you close your eyes, and next thing you know, you're asleep, So it primarily started off with that, not wanting to be dependent on, let's just say, like, the Advils and the Tylenols and stuff like that, So it was definitely those pains, but definitely for sure, if you need to get some busy work done, you can get a good sativa and just be like, doing what
Oh,
you need
like
to.
a little sativa and some coffee is like puts you right in that zone.
Yeah, so that's primarily where it started. I invested in one, company. Hopefully, it does well and everything like that. But yeah, it's definitely something that I enjoy.
What else you got going on in post retirement? What are you looking at? What are you trying to do? What are your interests? And are there any other big plans that you're trying to tackle at the moment?
So I say this though, once I got done playing, I felt it was good that I took like a year or two just to, because from like high school, well, basically from college, I mean, towards the end of my high school career, it was like one thing after the other. I'm always working to get better. I always have to have a chip on my shoulder, try to like get to the next level. Okay, I'm in the NBA. There's 60 new players getting drafted every year. Everybody's trying. Like I have to keep my spot. I have to deserve my spot. I have to earn my spot. So it was nice to like, once I retired. Basically, I saw you a lot more. I was basically doing jits like every day and everything like that. So it was good just to be able just to be about my family. My son was born a week after my last game and everything like that. So I was just on I went from like being in the NBA, running, training every day, to like changing diapers
And
and like
sorry to
getting up
interrupt
and
you, but
everything.
this is something that people might not
Yeah.
understand about professional athletes. They think they make all this money, but they're usually done by like 30 years old. So you have the rest of your life to have to live and bring income in and reinvent yourself for the most part. So it's a struggle for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people like jump into doing something like right away, and you have to find your own path. But for me, I felt good to be able to like year or two, I did just that. Just chilled at home. Just like just to like rest and not have to get up to go to the gym, be in a different city like every other night and everything like that. So it was good for that. And then my wife was like, all right, well, we can't do this forever. Like, you should get your ass up and get a job. So I talked to my agent. I get a job working for the 76ers as a player development associate. So I was at basically the bottom of the coaching ladder. And I'm just like, yo, I don't mind putting that work in to get up. I thoroughly did not enjoy working for a team and working for the NBA. A little stuff that we talked about before, being a players league. I felt that for me to try to help players, that the way I was helped, it wasn't going to mesh with the way how things were turning in terms of like, if a player says they're going to not practice today and they're going to come in and say at 6 p.m. or 3 p.m., you know, practice is usually done by like 1 o'clock, but all right, you're going to come back later on. All right, that's cool. Get there, leave the house at 2:30. Get to the gym, ready to work the person out. Oh, this person's not decided not to show up. They're going to come later. So I'm just like, all right, my wife and kids, are at home. They're expecting me to be home after practice. All right, so I wait. They're supposed to come at 5 p.m. They said they didn't come until basically 7:30, and then after that they needed an hour of treatment, and then they needed then we started to work out like at 8:30, and like to each his own. Like I respect. Yeah, I'm on standby, and like to each his own. Coaches have to do that. I know those are situations, so I respect the hell out of those coaches, because coaches, the equipment managers, the trainers, the people that do security on the days when you guys come back in later on, they basically are spending more time away from their families, and they're spending more time with the team than they are with their family. So I respect the hell of those guys, and like that do that because of and everything like that. It's just a different situation maybe because I played, I made a little bit of money. I'm just like, all right, you know what? This may not be for me. I gotta find something that's different. So that happened to be the COVID year, not the COVID year. Everything shut down and everything like that. So lo and behold, last year, my a business partner of mine was just like, hey, I'm going to do Halloween with my neighbor, and he hires the people to do CBS college broadcasting, the broadcasting. They're looking for a former NBA player to do some analyst work, but in studio in New York. So he's like, "Yo, Roy, what do you think about this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I went like the next week after Halloween and met with who would be my boss, and he liked me. And then within a week, they learn, I'm on air. And my wife is like, how do you go from being on the couch to like, going on air and talking in front of people? I'm just like, basketball, as long as you prepare, you watch your games, you learn tendencies and stuff, just like how I used to prepare in the NBA. I prepare for broadcasting, and actually, like, it seemed like something. That I could like really digest and like have fun doing. So I want to make a career out of that, and that's something I can do for a long period of time. So I'm in the process right now of finalizing my year 2 deal at CBS. So I'm gonna be doing that for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, man. And the good thing about it is in the world that we live in, you can do it for CBS, you can do it for yourself. I know you have a YouTube channel. And that's super exciting because you can talk directly to the people, and be creative. Uh, where can we find you at?
You can find me on X, I guess it's or formerly Twitter. I think my handle is Roy_meets_world or Roy_meets_world. I'm a Boy Meets World fan right there. TGIF. And then on Instagram, I'm Roy Hibbert 55, And then on YouTube, I am in the paint with Roy Hibbert. I recently, for your viewers out there, I recently went to Disney, and being in the NBA, so much of what happens is that you end up taking care of like a lot of people, and like you're the one that have to be Santa Claus, for birthdays and everything. So I'm used to like taking care of other people. Not really, Jiu-Jitsu was my major thing that I did for myself, but because of my neck, I can't do that anymore. But like I said, I'm a sci-fi nerd, and I love Star Trek, but I also love Star Wars and everything like that. So I went to Disney, but get stuff for the kids, love it. So we get done with this experience, right? And then we end up at a gift shop, and then I buy myself. So like, bro, this is
Can
like
you turn
I've
the
been
lights off real
collecting
quick?
these.
Can you just hit the lights?